Turn off your television sets. Turn them off now. Turn them off right now. Turn them off and leave them off. Turn them off right in the middle of the sentence I'm speaking to you now. Turn them off.
So I'll open with a quick story. When you attempt to, further your education, don't become a full-time graduate student also while working full-time, because then, you might have a recap to do. And you may have to, you know what? Let me stop. Actually, it is Dee's fault. Dee, how's it going?
It's not my fault. I'm doing great. It's not my fault. You are the one that wanted to get a higher education and better yourself and all that jazz. I did not suggest that to you once.
How dare you have a partner that has a birthday on Monday?
On Monday. Of all the days, it had to be a Monday. How dare he?
I'm joking. Shout out to these better half. But yeah,
better half.
We're here to recap Yellowjacket. Sorry for the delay, but thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. As always, this is episode 4. Episode 4. Old Wounds. And let's start with general impressions. How are you feeling about this episode?
There hasn't been an episode I didn't like. I want to say that. There was a point at the end where I said, I'm ready for this episode to be over. That doesn't necessarily mean it wasn't good. It just felt slow, I think, maybe. As you said, Ronnie, it was kind of, you didn't say it was hard to watch. You just said it was, what was the word you used? Did you say slow?
I can't remember what I said, but
you may have said it was a little slow.
Was that we opened at this breakneck pace, a continuation of season 1. And then this episode just abruptly slams on the brakes. And it was kind of weird watching it. It wasn't bad. It was just okay, let's get beyond this.
Liked it though. Now just keep remind me. This episode picks up right after the accident. That was this one, right? Right after Ty and her wife's accident. That's where it picks up, in the hospital. Yeah, I don't even remember.
I feel like we're conflating 2 episodes now, because I remember
that's why I'm trying to figure it out.
I remember talking about Jessica Roberts on the previous episode when she made the call to Jessica.
Yes. So this episode, this episode picks up with her in the hospital, and her wife has the symbol drawn on her hand.
Yes. No, this episode opens with
that was last episode?
just randomly being out in the middle of nowhere.
Okay, we're back.
We're back. Yeah.
Okay,
there you go.
Sorry. Okay, so we're back, y'all. And keep in mind too, the reason I'm also confused is that I did a rewatch, so I couldn't remember which episode I ended on. Okay, the last episode I watched in my rewatch was that one. This episode, you're right, starts with Ty lost. She's in a car lost. She doesn't know where she is, and at this point, I'm wondering if Ty needs an exorcism or if she just needs therapy. I don't know if she's I guess possessed, or if she has, is the proper term still dissociative identity disorder? Is that the proper? I hope it's the proper term for multiple.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know if it's DID or if she is just possessed with something, and she's saying the other one, and we know it looks like Ty because it's Ty, but whatever the other one is has specifically told us that it's not Ty. So that means she could be possessed with something like that. She could be a legion or she's she just has multiple personality. DID. Did you know where she was or where she was going? Because they pretty much, at the end of the other episode, they said, go to her. And we knew she was going to Van. We knew that. Did you think that's where she was when they found her? When she was in a car?
I figured she was on the way to Van. Yeah.
Okay. I think the most interesting part about the whole thing with Ty is that she literally now at this point, it feels like she even knows that there's somebody else and she communicates with the other person. Now, they have alluded to that because the other one says when Ty allows me or when she lets me, but we see for sure now that Ty actually can communicate with this other self. It's not like she kind of goes out and they have this internal dialogue and the other one comes up. She like decides, okay, it's you, have at it. I don't know where Ty is when this happens. I guess she's in a dream state or she's in all, for all intents and purposes, asleep. But yeah, obviously this other person takes over. They can drive. That's what we wanted to bring up. Notice we didn't mention this in the other episode, but when they were driving, Ty and her wife, and I never remember her name when I need to, but while they were driving, Ty looks up and Ty can see that there is a truck coming. I'm sorry, it wasn't Ty. The other one sees that a truck is coming and she does nothing to stop it. So I think that 100% solidifies that symbol is for sacrifice. Yeah.
So I will say this. I don't think we can say what it's for at this point, but I think we could definitely say what it's not. And I don't think it's a good sign because every time we see it, like something goes down. So there's no way like the sign means a good thing. And I think like if I were to make a guess, I think you are correct. Like that sign definitely is like referring to some sacrifice to whatever was in the woods because, Biscuit, the sign on the hand, just sacrifice.
Now now that we said that, I'm kind of going to jump around, okay? Because I have some thoughts. We have this competition with Lottie and Nat. Because Mari's ass, let me tell you about Mari, okay? She's annoying as shit. I want to put that out there. Mari's very annoying to me. I don't know how everybody else feels about it. She annoys me. And I think the thing that pissed me off the most was that I get that they're hungry, they're starving, they haven't had any meat for a while, but Mari blames Nat for that. Like Nat's the only person that's not actually going out to actively seek food or, trying to hunt or get something for them while you sit around. Yes, you cook it, but somebody's got to bring home the bacon for you to cook. And for her to sit there and say, well, she's the reason we don't have any meat. I'm like, the audacity. How dare you? How dare you, Mari? So they decide to have a good old fashioned pissing contest pretty much. Mm-hmm. And they put Nat and Lottie against each other, Charlotte against each other, and pretty much decide, okay, well, whoever brings us food is the real provider, or is proving that it's proving that Lottie has some kind of supernatural powers, or that she is some kind of deity, because they keep saying she's not God and nobody says that she is, but they want to make sure to say that she is something. That she has some sort of power, some sort of third eye. She has something. Now, they do this and Lottie almost dies. Like the girl almost freezes to death, which makes perfect sense. Now, the thing that I noticed above all is that she cuts her hand open. And like, not only does she cut her hand for a blood, like she cuts her hand open. Her palm is open. And the first thing I thought was, that's a lot of blood. There's a lot of blood. Now,
you might need that out in the cold,
Yeah, they're freezing. So you might need the blood, because if nothing else, I've noticed, most of the people know that, your iron is low, then you get colder and all this good stuff. I'm assuming that they are probably all anemic at this point, because where are they getting any iron at all? They're getting none, right? So you cutting yourself is only making it worse. And within this time, she decides to give this blood sacrifice to whatever that stump is. Now, remember, the stump is what was glowing when she had Travis do those breathing exercises. So, and I want to add, I'm 100% with y'all on the supernatural part now, because it has to be. Like there's no explaining that away, because that was the whole point. They showed that the stump was glowing.
And if there's not, you better have a good as a reason why there isn't. I just want to
exactly. or why putting all that stuff in there to make it appear that it is. So she's sacrificing and she's doing this blood at the stump and all of this stuff. So Lottie passed out and has this vision of her being in the mall and she sees Laura Lee. Well, it's actually a very odd vision because it starts with her finding the plane. Well, was it a helicopter or a crop duster? I don't know what it was. It was a plane. Finds that she goes down into some layer. Then she ends up in the mall.
Girl, you in hell.
She's in the mall with not all of the Yellowjackets, but with the Yellowjackets that are survivors. I want to point out who was at that meeting, but we'll get to that later. But she's there, and they pretty much, Laura Lee is like, hey, wake up or you're going to die. In the meantime, the moose, Nat finds the moose. And it makes me think, did she hit it the first time? Or did it just fall through the ice?
Because, I was wondering that too, because... So
I was thinking it's huge. How did she miss it?
Yeah, and if the moose was walking like on the ice collapsed, would the ice have like covered back up that quickly? I don't know.
Yeah,
it's definitely a white moose. It's a white moose.
And I mean, it's very, I guess it could be more than one white moose, sure. But what are the odds that it's a different white moose than the one she'd seen previously? Okay, she tries her best to get it out. And Mari's ass, and this is what like really pushed it over the edge for me. You just got done complaining about meat. They go to try to help get this moose out of the ice. And Mari's first thought is, oh, we said there was going to be no help. Do you want to eat or not?
Do you want to eat?
Do you want to eat or not? And I'm glad that's what Misty said. She's like, well, you made up the rules. You said there could be no help. Like, it was a game. This is a moose. You know how long they can eat off that moose?
Yeah, Misty was like, the game is over now. Like, it's time.
We got food. It was huge. Like, this moose is huge. And Mari is so wrapped up in proving that Lottie is the Messiah that she doesn't want anybody to go out and help get this moose that they found. Saddest part is they lost it, of course. Like they didn't get it. But I say all of that to say Lottie did perform some sort of ritual. She gave a blood sacrifice, and Van and Ty went to find the other symbol because Van has created this map and showing, hey, these are all the symbols you've shown, and if it's going the way it's supposed to, there's another one at this particular place. They go to that particular place, and who do they find, Ronnie?
They find Javi.
Javi has been living like a vagabond this whole time. It's been several months. 2 months, is that what she said? It's been 2 months.
Mm-hmm.
Several months he's been living. And there's something significant about the fact that there's running water and there's marsh. I don't know what it is. I'll get your thoughts. What do you think? Do you think there's anything to that? I mean, it is kind of odd to me that it's growing there with that water and it's, everything else is frozen, but I don't know. Like, I don't know how things thrive in climates like that. I'm not very well versed in cold weather at all.
Because the running water and moss, I thought like were more of like, conditions of a different season. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So is the season changing? Maybe the ice is melting and it's like you lived somewhere up there, so I was maybe you know more than I.
I was inside. I was not trying to find the moss when I was out there.
You were trying to get out there. Well, okay. Well, there's fresh. I mean, I say fresh water, but there's running water, and that is how they found Javi. Now, my whole point is saying all of that is Van and Ty went to find this symbol, and then Lottie did that blood sacrifice, and in that found Javi. Now, is there some kind of connection between the two things? Because I know that the symbol at this point in the man with no eyes has been all pointing to Ty. But how does it relate to Lottie? Because she doesn't know what the symbol means, but she seems to be, I won't say worshiping, but she seems to be sending offerings to whatever is behind whatever that symbol is. So are her visions and Ty's visions some kind of way connected? Or is it just they are now connected because of that symbol or whatever it represents? Because both of them were getting visions before they came to the island. I mean, before they crashed. So is it just a weird coincidence, or?
I think it's a coincidence in the sense, like you said, that it's been happening like before that. But I think now that they're in the same place and there's like also this force is like connecting them. And I don't know what to make of it. Like which one is like good, which one is bad, which one is right, which one is wrong. But there's definitely like two forces at play between like Ty and Lottie.
Somewhere. I'm very interested to see how that connects, because they are both at some point they both decided that this thing is worth something, worth offering sacrifices for, worth using the symbol for, whatever else. Because if you remember, Ty was 100% against it when they had it on a blanket. Remember? So I don't know. And I still don't think
happens that make them,
yeah. And I still don't think there's a coincidence between the symbol being there, then then Shauna's nose bleeding, and then Amanda falling, the sparrows falling. It's not all game. Callie. You want to talk about Callie? And Shauna being a terrible mother, because Shauna's a terrible mother. We'll get into it. Callie has been sneaking out to meet the detective. Is his name Max or Matt? Max or Matt, whatever his name is.
Jared.
But he's not undercover. Yeah, he's not undercover, but they are still doing some sort of weird sting operation where he's seeing this underage girl to get information about her mother. That's very creepy, and I hate it. And I hope he has some sort of repercussion for it, but who knows? Whatever.
No, we gotta ask the people on this.
Okay.
So is it a continuity error? Because Callie is in a bar. She says that she's at home taking a semester off.
She does say she's taking a semester off.
Yeah, and also through this season when she's in the bed with the guy, she was like, yeah, I gotta go study for a whatever test or whatever. So I don't think it's a continuity error at this point. I think it's an unexplained teenager going into a bar in a very small town where everybody knows each other, but we're just not going to talk about that. And then a detective who isn't undercover, but at the same time is using a teenage girl to extract information about the person they're really seeking. Let us know what you think about that. I have thoughts.
I think it is, if nothing else, I don't get why it's there. That's the whole thing. Like, even if they say, well, they told you how old Callie was and birth certificate, and she says a biotest, and it's clear she's in high school, fine. But why put that scene in the bar there? Like, why? Because if you're trying to show us Callie's character, we knew that already. Like, that's not something that we needed to see. I just don't get it. Whatever. But let us know what y'all think. Seriously, we would really, really like to know what y'all think about that whole situation. Callie and Shauna have a heart-to-heart. In that heart-to-heart, Shauna confesses to her daughter that she killed Adam. Why?
I mean, I feel like
I'm asking
she has
why.
To. She has. I feel like at this point she has to.
You don't implicate. I'm with Jeff. I'm just putting it out there 100%. And I hate that they got me siding with a man. You don't implicate your 17-year-old daughter. Like, that's not what you do. You protect your daughter. And if you have to lie to protect her, then you do. If you have to let her go to the police and snitch, whatever else, you do whatever you have to do to protect your child. You don't tell your child that you've committed a murder. Well, you don't commit murder, first of all. That's the first thing.
Well, yeah, let's start there. Yeah.
Secondly, if you do, you can't make your daughter an accomplice, because she's an accomplice now, right?
So I'm in no way justifying this, but I think the only way to bring Callie in on this, and I reluctantly say make her like an ally, and to like not end up like running off and telling somebody about this, which is, by the way, You totally should if your parents kill somebody, but that's besides the point. But the only way to like bring her in on this and make her okay with it is to like tell her the truth about it. Because ultimately, it is a bit of manipulation, but ultimately, Callie is just a kid seeking answers. And I think Shauna is like, if I just, because she knows something. So if I stop BSing her, she'll be okay with it. Terrible
And
parent. But that's the
but
logic,
you're
I think.
right. You're right though, because now she's better. She has a more positive attitude. She wants to help in the kitchen. But my thought is, again, as a parent, one, you don't commit murder, but if you do, you have to do whatever to protect your child. And I guess in Shauna's mind, this is protecting her because she becomes an orphan, I reckon, if she goes to jail. But she's not doing it to protect Callie. She's doing it to protect herself.
No, herself, yeah. Nobody.
It's not even for Jeff. Yeah, it's just for her.
Because that's the thing too. Like, you know, I don't subscribe to like, typical roles of masculinity, but if you cheat on me and then you somehow kill your the guy you're having an affair with, don't tell our kids because that's a level of embarrassment that I do not want to endure. So just tossing that out there.
Don't tell me. Like let's start with that. Like now, first you cheated, which is bad, but most people can get past that if they choose so, right? If you choose to say, I forgive you, it's fine, let's move on. That's one thing. Oh, by the way, I also murdered said person I slept with. And now you know. So now I have to live with the fact that I know that you murdered somebody. Then to top it off, I have to help you clean it up. Then now you've told our child, like, this is too much. It's too much. And then Shauna's doing stupid stuff like going to get her minivan, right? Like, again, I think her wrestling with the guy to get the gun was irresponsible, but she did it. She had the gun. Jeff should have stepped up and helped her at that point, right? Like, you mad at me, but whatever, but now we have the upper hand. Don't let him take the van. What I've done now was in vain. Now, second thing, her going to get said minivan, that was just stupid. Like, I don't, stupid. It was just dumb. And even though she handled the situation well, I guess for the most part, she got it back and she did whatever she needed to do. The point is, though, it was a minivan, Shauna. You didn't have to do that. And you make it about that bear. Yeah, rusted. The dude didn't even want to. He's at a chop shop and he's like, it's kind of useless anyway, so go for it. It's just ridiculous to me. She's making some very wild moves. I don't know what's going on with her mind. I guess she's got some kind of bloodlust now, which makes sense. I don't know, but we shall see. I think she's a legitimately terrible person, though. That's what I want to put out there. We can actually wrap this up now because the card. There is a card with a queen that has its eyes crossed out. Now, we talked about that because the last episode, Lottie discussed how the queens in the hive will sting all of pretty much the queens in succession to death. And it's necessary. It's not cruel, but it's necessary because they would starve otherwise. That has got to be what they did to decide who got eaten, right? Like, it has to be. They had to pull a card and whoever got the queen was the person who dies or got to decide who died. Right? Like, it has to be at this point, because if you notice, they said you pull the 4, so you got to pour out the P. That's what they told Misty. So whoever pulls the 4, she said, you pull the 4, so you have to take it out. And I remember, I rewatched. So that's who was on pretty much potty duty. So they're definitely doing it by a card system.
Yeah. Also, I'm gonna say something that I haven't told you yet.
Uh-oh.
So what I'm going to say is, remember like the first episode of season 1 where there's someone running and they land in the pit and they make it look like Lottie. They make this person look like Lottie. Well, they introduce a character this season that looks a lot like Lottie, that the girl in the pit is Mari.
It has to be Mari because we haven't seen Mari either outside of the young Mari.
Yeah.
And I mean, I know they brought Van in this season, whatever else, but I think it's Mari too. It has to be Mari, right?
Mm-hmm.
Unless they introduce somebody else, which would kind of be lazy to me. I think it's Mari.
Yeah, Lottie is going to have to kill one of her main believers. So yeah.
But you know what? It tracks because again, she says she kills all of the next queens, and Mari would have been her. If not Mari, then Van, and we know Van survives. So I think it's Mari too. You're right. That's kind of it. Except we got to Van. That's where we are now. We actually got to see that she is running a video store. Is it?
Yeah.
Well, she's running a video store. She got Blockbuster. The last Blockbuster is run by Van, and she said hi. So I don't know what we're gonna see next episode. Hopefully, we get a full. This is Van. This is where Van's been. This is what happened. Get a little bit more into that story. We can kind of lay off Lottie for a little while, in my opinion. I think we've seen enough for now. I am, however, a little bit more interested in her story than I was before. I think that's about it. It wasn't much. Oh, Nat and the girl that she stabbed with, they had a little connection. And it seems like Nat might be taking to that cult a little bit more than she was initially. So it's going to be interesting to see how that goes too. I don't know. These and other theories on the next episode of One Last Week's
Until next
episode.
time. Peace.